Welcome to the session in ARC pseudo operations. At the end of this session, students will be able to understand the pseudo operations, that is, instructions to the assembler to perform some action at assembly time. Let us see pseudo operations. The ARC instructions that are supported by the architecture. There are also pseudo operations that are not opcodes at all, but rather instructions to the assembler to perform some action at assembly time. A list of pseudo operations and examples of their usage as we discussed in this particular session, which are specific to a given machine. The kind of nature of the pseudo operations are specific to a given assembler, because they are executed by the assembler itself. So here you can able to check some pseudo operational list. The .equ pseudo operation instructs the assembler to equate a value or a character string with a symbol, so that the symbol can be used throughout a program as if the value or string is written in its place. The .begin and .end pseudo operation tells the assembler when to start and stop assembling. The statement that appear before .begin or after .end are ignored. A single program may have more than one .begin .end pair, but there must be a .end for every .begin, and there must be at least one .begin. The use of .begin and .end are helpful in making portions of the program invisible to the assembler during debugging. The .org pseudo op causes the next instruction to be assembled with the assumption it will be placed in the specified memory location at runtime. The next, the .dwb, that is define word block pseudo op, reserves a block of 4-byte words, typically for an array. And the next, the global and .global and .extend pseudo op deals with names of variables and addresses that are defined in one assembly code module and are used in another. The .global pseudo op makes a label available for use in other modules. The .extend pseudo op identifies a label that is used in the local module and is defined in another module. So here an ARC example program is given. The process of writing an assembly language program is similar to the process of writing a high level program, except that many of the details that are abstracted away in high level programs are made explicit in assembly language program. So in this section we take a look at two examples. One ARC assembly language program, that is add two integers. First program, here we are writing an ARC assembly language program that adds two integers 15 and 9. One possible coding is shown in this particular program. The program begins and ends with the .begin and .end pair. The .org pseudo op instructs the assembler to begin assembling so that the assembled code is loaded into memory starting at location 2048. The operands 15 and 9 are stored in the variable x and y respectively. We can add numbers that are stored in register in the ARC. The add cc instructions adds R1 and R2 and places the result in register 3. The ST instruction then stores R3 in memory location Z. The JMPL instruction with the operand R15 plus 4 and R0 causes a return to the next instruction in the calling routine. So which is the operating system? If this is the highest level of the user program, as we can assume it is here. So the variable x, y and z follows this particular program. Next, one more complex example program here we have written, and the program is sum of an array of integers. Now consider a more complex program that sums an array of integer. One possible coding is shown here in this particular program. As in the previous example, the program begins and ends with a dot begin and dot end pair. The .org sudo op instruct the assembler to begin assembling so that assembled code is loaded into the memory, again starting at location 2048. The program begins by loading a length of array A, which is given in bytes, into R1. The program then loads the starting address of the array into R2 and clears R3, which will hold the partial sum register in R3. Is cleared by ending it with R0, which always holds the register for that matter, and the result will still be 0. Okay. The label loop begins a loop that starts by checking if the number of remaining array element to sum %r1 is 0. It does this by ANDing r1 with itself, which has the side effect of setting the condition codes. We are interested in the Z flag, which will be set to 1 if r1 is equals to 0, and the remaining flags are set accordingly. The value of Z is tested by making the use of the instruction. Okay. So here you have question. The dash sudo op deals with addresses that are defined in one assembly code module and are used in another. So here you need to tell the sudo op. You have options .org, .global, .extern and .macro. Your answer. Here the .extern sudo op deals the addresses that are defined in one assembly code module and are used in another. Next, 1, 2, 3 address machine. The ARC is typical of a load store computer. That is, programs written for load store machines generally executes faster, in part due to reducing CPU memory traffic by loading operands into the CPU only once and storing result only when the computation is complete. Let us consider how the C expression A equals to B into C plus D might be evaluated by each of the 3 instruction types, that is one address machine, 2 address machine and 3 address machine. So in this example, when referring to a variable A, the actual means the operand whose address is A. In order to calculate some performance statistics for the program fragments below, we will make the following assumption. Addresses, opcode and data words are 16 bits. A not uncommon size in earlier machine. Opcode are 8 bits in size. Operands are moved to and from memory one word at a time. We will compute both program size in bytes and program memory traffic with these assumptions. Let us begin 3 address instruction. The expression A equals to B into C plus D might be coded as multiply B into C, add D into A, comma A, which means multiply B by C and store the result at A. Then add D to A and store the result at address A. Then the program size is 8 into 2, or we can say 16 bytes. Memory traffic is 16 plus 2 into 2 into 3, that is 28 bytes. Okay. Next, that is 2 address instruction. In a 2 address instruction, one of the operand is overwritten by the result. Here the code for expression A equals to B into C plus D is, here we have instruction. As per these instructions, The program size is now 3, which is of 1 plus 2 into 2, or we can say this is 15 bytes. So memory traffic is here total 31 bytes. Now a one address instruction employs a single arithmetic register in the CPU known as the accumulator. So the accumulator typically holds one arithmetic operand and also serves as the target to the result of an arithmetic operation. The one address format is not in common use these days. So in the early days of computing, when registers were more expensive and frequently served multiple purposes, it serves as temporary storage for one of the operands and also for the result. So for given code of the expression a equals to b into c plus d is, that is, we have the some instructions. So according to this instruction, the load instruction loads b into the accumulator, then multiplies c by the accumulator and store the result in the accumulator, and add does the corresponding additions. So the store instruction is stores the accumulator in A, and the program size here it is 2 into 2 into 4, or we can say 16 bytes, and memory traffic is total it is of 24 bytes. Okay. So these are my references. Thank you.